So yesterday evening I sistered the bands with this cord here. This is a thinner cord than I've used previously. This is hemp. It's actually really quite strong, and they're basically just held in place with 7 loose loops. Now eventually this is all going to be glued down with a nice sheet of fabric over it. But I'm hopeful that because this is a bit thinner, I mean the raised bands don't need to be made any bigger than they are, and what this will do is help the leather just to sit a little bit smoother on the boards when we actually put the leather on. So there were these pages here, basically the first sort of 6 leaves, sort of 12 pages, including the title pages. You can see these were completely loose. So I've actually gone through the process of just gluing these back in. So I'm actually just going to finish the process here. The paper I'm using, this paper is about 300 years old. So it's a you know, it has good aging characteristics, so it looks very similar to the paper it's being adhered to, which is always a good thing. You don't want repairs to look completely out of line with the what it is you're repairing. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on there and then just complete like so. Just bring it over like this. So, okay. So these pages are now well situated to be sort of put back on the book. Now, I actually might have sort of 2 choices on how I could actually reattach this. The first would be simply to use an extra piece of paper that comes round in an L shape and just is glued on. That's probably not so good because eventually I'm going to put a lot of glue into this as I glue the fabric on, and I want that glue to soak through, and it just makes an extra layer that the glue has to penetrate. The alternative is just to sew it in. Now that we've got these pieces of cord here, may as well just sew these pages directly onto the cord. It'll help to keep the cords in place and everything else, and might as well do it that way. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So next step is sew those on, and then we'll move directly on to gluing everything down, putting a sheet of fabric on, and then letting it settle. Okay, so this is almost 1, 2, 3. This is almost sewn in. Just doing the final 2 here. Go in. Like that. And come out here. Around the final bundle of cords. It's not gone around twice, it's only gone around once. Got glue on my fingers, which doesn't help. So there we go. So Now that's sewn in. A couple of pages on the back. We'll do exactly the same thing. And then we'll move to glue and fabric. Okay, so I've glued in the pages that were loose, or rather sewn in, the pages that were loose on the front and the back of the book. One thing that's kind of evident is, as you can see, the text block's sort of sitting flat on the table here. Now, there was a natural, I guess, curve in the text block back in the day. And these pages I've put in front and back aren't really part of that. Obviously, they've just been newly sewn in after having been loose for a very long time. So the result is these are actually sort of riding up slightly more, whereas this text box sort of sitting further down. So what I'm going to have to do is just try and adjust for that by sort of restoring the natural curve in the book. So what I'm going to do, so just here's some old sort of kitchen roll. Now the beauty of this is it has a nice sort of, just a very gentle spring in it that just sort of creates a concave shape as something's just sort of placed on top of it. So what I'm going to do is lift this text block a little bit, slide one under that, slide another guy under that, and then let the book settle back down. So now, what that allows the book to do is to, there we go, restore some of the concave shape, just gently, just a little bit, so that, like so. So now we have a nice, see that? Concave shape restored. So now that's in a nice position to put the fabric on. That'll really secure everything in position. These are currently sort of loose, they can move around a little bit, so they'll be set in place, ready for board reattachment once the fabric's glued down. So I've gone ahead and obtained the fabric and just put one set of holes in just to loosely hold it here, just so I have it in place. It'll make it really easy just to sort of put it on in a moment. But the first thing we're going to do here is slather this text block spine with glue, and that'll help just to set everything down. So this is just painting and decorating now. Here we go. Just focusing on the making sure there's a good amount on the rib. We want to make sure that these new cords that we've added sort of adhere well to everything. Adhere to the fabric, adhere to the ribs underneath. The glue will penetrate maybe about 1/4 of an inch into the text block itself. Now, one thing I need to be slightly careful of is that's old leather, and I just realized a lesson from a previous restoration. The brown color from that leather could well start to turn itself into a little chromatography experiment, and we'll actually get that color migrating into the text block. I'm going to just remember that now after applying the glue, so it may be a little late for me to do anything, but it'll be interesting to watch for that. I mean, this is just school glue, same as your 7-year-old you'd use at elementary school, so it's completely harmless. It dries without leaving any kind of residue. Make sure that I particularly apply some glue to the edge here, because just to really embed down those pages that I've reattached here on the edge. There we go. So that's half the gluing done. Put a bit more up here. Now what I'm going to do is bring this fabric over. As you can see, I just tied it with some loops here. That was just to hold it in place. And of course I've done it wrong because I undid it in the wrong way. Basically these need to be coming through. All right, may as well demonstrate how I did it. You gather all your cords, twist into a single fatter bundle, pull it through like so. So what I'm going to do is, this is where I need to undo them. There. What I might do actually is just put that there just to let the glue hold it in place for a second while I finish the rest. Okay, now turn the whole lot over. That's what I'm after. So the cords sort of peek through. That's important because obviously the cords need to be sewn into the boards. But we need the fabric itself to also adhere to the underside of the board. So there we go. That's what we want. All right. So you kind of get the message now. We're going to, you get the idea rather. You're going to paste this down like this. There's lots of slack in the fabric, which is deliberate so that I can paste it down like this. Obviously the glue's already starting to grab the fabric, which is good. But I'm now going to double up with another dose of glue. And this is about getting the fabric to really sit down well. And then sort of see there. And then once the fabric's in place, we'll make a second set of holes down the left-hand side here and pull those cords through as well. And then we'll leave the book to dry and rest. Oops. There we go. That's what we want. It's really nice. Here we get rid of that